Much for staying with us. You're watching the AM Ghana show right here on Adwa TV. We're streaming live on Facebook, Adwa TV Ghana, and YouTube, Adwa TV GH. It's time for the political discussion. And like I mentioned earlier, we're speaking on issues relating to education. We're talking about UTAC strike and what government has got to do with it. Why have we gotten here? It is a third week. And what are the chances of the universities or the public university you're talking about? What are their chances of going back to school, and what are their chances of getting the schools shut down? Because already some students are back home because there's nothing going on in school. We'll be speaking to the SRC president of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, who will also tell us or give us updates on what's happening in their school at the moment, and also we'll speak to Honorable Peter Nochukoto as well, who is a member on the Education Committee in Parliament, to also tell us what has gone on so far, because government is saying UTAG is ungrateful. Why this comment? We'll speak on that, and also we'll talk about the operation Clean Your Frontage, and also why the MPP is asking that the Honorable Jachi Kwesi does not parade himself as an MP for the constituency. Joining me in the studio from both MPP and the NDC on my right, I have Richard Manuribi, who is a member of the NDC communication team, and also across I have Lawrence Entry, who is also from the MPP communication team. So Lawrence and Richard, you're welcome.
Thank you,
gentlemen. How are you doing?
We are doing very well.
By the grace of God.
Oh, yeah. Lawrence, I've not heard from you.
Oh,
it's only I asked 2 questions, but you've just answered 1, or 1 for all the questions.
What was the first question?
I said you are welcome.
Thank
you didn't say anything.
Thank you.
And how are you doing?
By His grace, I'm fine.
You are doing fine. Richard, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
This
well.
small day.
Yes. You know, I have this conviction so that if you are trained by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, a very honest president, and on your way you see people who struggle, call His Excellency incompetent, and they come to air, and you meet them outside and say that things are really tough, that you put a smile on your face. But when I was coming, I saw a whole lot of things under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's development. But Kwako Frimpong, we ask them anything, nothing to show. So always I have a joy. If you observe, I've always been smiling.
Oh yes.
Yes. And that's typical of me.
Maybe it might not be politically inclined. It might be something else, because God has been good to you. So maybe that is it.
God has been good to me for bringing me to NDC.
For bringing you to the party. Anyway, that's Richard, and that is what he also has to say about how happy he is. Now let me come to Lawrence. Lawrence, how has it been for you? 2022, we've now started a new year. What's it for you?
Oh, you know, the father you see me here, healthy, means the Lord has been good, and we need to be grateful to Him for the good health He has granted us, and how far He has brought Ghana through the leadership of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. You see my outfit this morning, and unusual about me this morning, I have joined the crusade for Operation Clean Your Frontage.
That's a good move.
So before I even come here, I started the fatigue, trying to do the needful at my area. That's why you see me.
I see you in that.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good attire.
We are on course, and we believe that the good Lord will surely lead us to the destination we are all expecting. So Operation Clean Your Frontage, and then the Operation Ghana Beyond Aid.
We'll come to that.
Yeah.
As for Operation Clean Your Frontage, it is already on our down.
I think today should have been granted the whole day, or the whole
granted for what
should be given to Operation Clean Your Frontage.
We cannot dwell on that. There are other matters that we can talk, because UTAC is also another serious thing that we can talk about. But that is a very good initiative anyway. Kudos to the regional minister on that.
And e-levy is also another thing.
E-levy is also there, so we cannot dwell so much on just the filth, and then we'll move on. We'll come to that as well. It's also very important.
Don't say just a filth.
Pardon?
Something crucial.
It is, and that's why we are giving you kudos. And to whoever is championing this cause.
I even appreciate you that it's a good move you are doing.
He said it, and I think that we've also said it before you even came in. But let's dwell on what we are talking about now. UTAG strike. Government is accusing UTAG for being ungrateful. Where is this coming from? I think that if you ask me, everybody has a part to play. Government has not done well. UTAG has also not done well. But, you know, government should always think about this. UTAG members are also parents. They have children who are in school. They also have needs. They have to care for their families and others. And so they need money. And so what is it that is keeping government from doing what is expected of them for members of UTAG to have them go back to school to teach? Because I'm not sure that UTAG members are too happy about the fact that they are striking. If they have children who are in the university, their children are also not going to school. They are home. The only happy thing about it is that maybe they are teachers, and based on what their children are learning in school, they might help tutor them in the house. But how many parents are teachers in the university? How many students have their parents as teachers in the university to teach them? And so government has a role to play. The minister has also said a lot of things with regards to this. We have a video. We went to some schools to ask what is happening. We'll take a look at that video, and when we come back, we'll speak to the SRC president of the Ghana Institute of Journalism, as I mentioned earlier, and then we'll come back to see what really the issues are and how we can solve this, because it doesn't even help at all. And from all indications and information we are gathering, it looks like some major schools have even pushed aside their main examinations, which isn't right. My brother is back home because there's nothing going on in school. Let's see that video, and when we come back, we'll continue the conversation.
Students have been busily registering for the academic year and hoping for lectures to begin right after the festive season. However, things didn't go as planned. The University Teachers Association of Ghana UTAG on Monday, January 10, 2022, embarked on a nationwide strike action to press home their demands for improved conditions of service. UTAG from last year has been lamenting over the worsening conditions of its members and followed through with some demands on government. In its latest press release dated January 20th, the group decried the government's inability to implement as well as meet timelines agreed upon during negotiations as part of efforts aimed at improving conditions of service of lecturers. The strike has lasted for 3 weeks now. Some students of the Ghana Institute of Journalism expressed dissatisfaction over the strike, stating emphatically how it's affecting them. According to Josephine Nyedu Efresha, the government must heed to the call of the disgruntled teachers to settle their differences.
We're supposed to start lectures about, let me say, 2 weeks now. But because of the strike, we are still home and not yet knowing when to come for lectures. It will affect us in a way that because of the timetable, we have to go back from some of the subjects because we are supposed to be starting learning right now. But because of that, some of the timetable has to go back. So I think it will affect us in a way. I think the teachers has to be taken care of so that they can also take care of us.
For Pond Festus, a level 200 student, the strike action is taking a toll on him, putting consideration monies paid for the semester only to be told that teachers are on strike.
It is, and then we can't do anything about it as students because they feel like what they are getting from what they are doing is not enough. So they have to do what it takes for the government to see to the government doing their responsibility the right way. So, well, it's not good for us. It's really hurting because you pay this huge sum of money as your fees way last year, and then this year, the moment school resumes, you hear this strike stuff, and it's really appalling. But Ghana, it's affecting me negatively. It's really affecting because I should be learning by now, but I'm in the house doing nothing. So, well, I understand the teachers with what they are doing, because I wouldn't say if I were to be in their position, I wouldn't do the same. You see, life, it hurts when you're doing something and you're not being valued for doing it.
The conversation continues. This is coming from students of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. Of course, we have the SRC president on phone to speak to on matters at the moment in the school. I visited the place some weeks ago, and I thought that, well, it's just reopening. So maybe people are now coming in to do one or two things and then continue with their lectures. But we'll speak to him. Hello, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Morning, I'm fine.
This one this I'm fine there. I don't know how to take it, but we'll just keep it at that. What has been the communication so far with regards to students and teachers of Ghana Institute of Journalism with regards to the strike?
Good morning to your listeners once again. Well, we've been informed that there's an ongoing strike action, and because of that, this learning cannot go on. Due to these reasons, the university campus has been deserted by students, and there's no lecturers are not teaching, so yeah, that's what's happening.
And even before the strike, for Ghana Institute of Journalism, we heard that your reopening was even postponed to a later date. Has this also had any effect whatsoever? Do you think that if the initial dates that you were supposed to go back to school had been, maybe you would have even had access to some form of intellectual property from some teachers in school? Do you think it's also affected it in any way?
Well, that argument could also be had, but I think that the extension of the reopening date favored a lot of students. If you look at the time we're supposed to come back to school and how quick we had to go look for school fees, I think the extension was timely and one of the things that SRC had gone to plead for. So for us, I think we think that particular extension does not really disturb our plans or does not really alter the things that are happening now.
But as SRC, have you had any interactions with school authorities on how the semester is going to go since you've been away from school for 3 good weeks? Have you had any conversation whatsoever on when even they resume, how things are going to look like? If you're going to have exams, what have you had any conversation of the sort?
Not yet, please.
Not yet, but do you think it's likely to happen between you and then the authorities?
Well, the UTAG strike is a national matter.
Sure.
And the university's curriculum are drawn at the national level. So when the strike is called off, I think that all those conversations will be had and then there will be a headway.
All right. Thank you very much for the time. We'll still be in touch, and whatever happens, we'll still get through, and then we'll speak to you. Thank you. All right. That was the SRC president for Ghana Institute of Journalism, and it looks like it's not going to get any better. But gentlemen in here also help us understand what is happening. Of course, since they're coming from both divides, I hope that we do not politicize these kind of conversation, health, education, and then some others. We do not heavily politicize them. I'll start with Lawrence, since he is in a very good mood where he thinks that his government is doing very well, which we are giving thumbs up to with the initiative that they have since yesterday. I'll start with Lawrence to tell us what he thinks. Do you think government has been fair and UTAG has been ungrateful? From what the comments we are getting, that the education minister is saying that, well, they've been in consultation with the UTAG members on how to handle and to go back to class and then teach and all that. Do you think these two parties have done fairly?
Well, thank you very much. To start with, I think I cannot do without saluting His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and his able Lieutenant Dr. Bawumia, and of course the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Henry Forte, for the good work he's doing, and then all the MPP leadership, particularly my central constituency. Well, what I would say is that nobody particularly is happy about the happening between the university teachers and in the government. And we all know that this is not the first time employer and employees misunderstanding has happened in this country. For industrial actions, it keeps on coming in and out. Successive government has witnessed it, and we believe that the employees deserves what they have worked for, and therefore there's the need for consensus building, okay, to ensure that both parties comes to an agreement where productivity will continue in this country. One may say that maybe the happiness now indirectly may not affect productivity, but we believe that at long way is going to help affect the productivity of this country. For me, what I would say is that, well, they have their concerns as teachers union, and government also has concerns. What I expect that the institutions that are mandated to ensure that when some of these things rise up, they deal with it in the interest of the state. That is Ghana Labour Commission, and then fair wages. They must take this matter seriously and engage them. The minister is doing all that he could as a minister of state to ensure that they arrive at a consensus. But then the minister will always try to cool down tempers, looking at his job as a minister. But what goes in must be done by the institutions that are mandated to do so. That is the Ghana National Labour Commission, and that, of course, the fair wages and salary. No. They must ensure that they listen to both sides and then meet at a win-win point. What are they demanding? Is government able to meet it? What are the reasons government is not listening to their demands? These are some of the things we as Ghanaians expecting. We cannot continue to look on for some of these things to happen. Eventually, it will affect the state. Like you rightly said, all of us, we have our children in school, including the lecturers who are now on strike. It's going to affect everybody. So it is a responsibility of the state to ensure that we maintain peace. The minister, I don't know how or what engagement he actually has done with them, and probably maybe what understanding maybe came out of a particular meeting, and after the meeting, maybe there was a quick turn against what maybe they agree on. Particularly, I don't know who made that statement. If the minister made a statement that they are ungrateful, I don't know. If you can help me, who made that statement?
This is coming from Ghana. So in the read up here, it says that the government has described, and if we're talking about
the government, who said it?
It might be either the education minister, because so, you know he has been in consultation with UTAG.
We cannot. There are a whole lot of government agencies,
but this falls heavily on the laps of the education ministry, and they are even fronting this kind of conversation. So I'm not sure any other. So like you mentioned, it is them first, and then the NLC, and then the fair wages, and then salary. Who's also in there trying to make sure that there's peace.
The Ministry of Finance also has engaged them on several occasions.
Yes, because the demands they are making has to do with increase. Yes.
I particularly, I am concerned about who made that statement. If the government, fine, let's leave it as it is, because I had wanted to know who made that statement so that I'll be able to draw or come out with some views on the matter. But once it's an open, for me, what I would say out of politics is that it is industrial action that has happened in the country. Any sector of the economy is equally important. If this thing happens to maybe agri sector, it happens to health sector, even the security agencies, of course, they don't even go to strike their duties, you know, the constitutional requirement. Any sector of the economy, okay, also has a role to play in the build-up of the state. So wherever there are challenges, we expect that leadership sit down and judge and bring solution to the problem. I am appealing to the teacher unions. I cannot sit here and condemn them. No, I'm not ready to do so because they have their concerns legitimately. And government also has his concerns legitimately. I'm appealing to both sides to ensure that they sit down and they are employers and employees. They are not enemies. I don't think they are enemies. And this is not the first time it has happened. So they should sit down and talk about the issue for the interest and the betterment of the nation. That is all that I'm saying. I'm appealing to both sides that they should try and understand each other and then ensure that the state gets what it needs. That's my stake on the matter for now. I cannot sit here and condemn the teacher union. I cannot condemn them, no. And I can also condemn them. I am calling on the state agencies who are mandated to ensure that if there's industrial action, strike, some of these things must be dealt with because that is why they have been put in place. They should up their game and get it done.
But Lawrence, you know that your government, especially with regards to education, there has been a lot of lack of, for the lack of a better word, the education sector, and of course, let me trickle it down to teachers especially, haven't been too happy about how your government and the ministry respectively has handled education in this country, where they consistently talk about not being consulted on certain decisions that are made with regards to the ministry, and this is their concern. That is the only outstanding thing that is on the table as at now. And speaking about October 18, 2021, UTAG and the government concluded negotiations on the only outstanding matter on research allowance for university teachers. The conclusion was to up research allowance to $1,600 equivalent by 2024, and this is after the Akufo-Addo government had upped it already from 500 Ghana cedis in 2018. This will mean an increase from 500 cedis to $1,600. That is 9,600 Ghana cedis by the current administration. It says so. This is where that comment is coming from, where the government in power thinks that, well, we've even moved it from 500 cedis to another amount, not to what they are expecting, but to another amount, and that is why government is saying they are ungrateful. Let me.
You said
okay. Then quickly, then we should also have the take.
I personally disagree with you on your position that this government has not been actually been fair or fair to teachers when it comes to some of the negotiations.
Lawrence, that is not to say we don't know the kind of educational system they want us to have. We agree that they want it to be robust and then be very impactful. But these are stakeholders who have to be consulted before some of these decisions are taken.
I personally disagree with you. So let me land. You know, now that I have gotten where the statement came from, why government is saying that they are ungrateful. Obviously, the previous government abolished even the research and boost and research allowances. It was completely abolished. Under John Dramani Mahama regime, they said they cannot pay, and they were not paying. But when Nana Akufo-Addo came to power, he restored it and even increased it from the 500, as you said, to 950. Okay? So if a time has come, you want an increment, and the government is engaging you to at least be somehow lenient or flexible, looking at the economic situation we find ourselves now, and we still stand that no, then governments have every right to say that we are not grateful. As compared to the previous regime, nothing at all was given to you. They cancelled completely. They are aware of it, isn't it? When it comes to engagement, I beg to differ. You know, these teacher unions, sometimes, I don't know how they make U-turn about some of these things. You recall, we were in this country when the issue of laptop came in, and the leadership of these teacher unions came up strongly that they were not consulted. At the end of the day, when then the previous sector minister came out and make a comment that these are the people who even brought the ideas, and he gave them the power to go out there and look even for the vendors. And they came out, these people. Later, what did we see in this country? They came up again and turned and said that yes, indeed, they actually frontiered everything. So if today you tell me they say we don't engage them, we don't consult them, I beg to differ. Looking at the recent issue about the curriculum and the calendar issue, initially they were saying they were not consulted, but later they said they were consulted, but the consultation was not enough. There are two different things. Saying that they were not consulted at all, but coming back and say they were consulted because the evidence were clear. If you attend meetings, the register is there, your name, everything, even per diem or allowances that are given to you is clear. And you tell me you were not consulted, but your name was registered in a meeting where you represented. So sometimes these our teacher unions, when the pressure is coming from the main body to them, they want to hide somewhere. And I am particularly not happy about that. However, it is a human institution. Government is ready. Government is ready to engage them at any time. And then the expectation is that they should not take an entrenched position. They should also listen to government, because this government has committed a lot into education. And this is the only government who has taken teachers at heart. And so many things that he has done for teachers in this country. No other government, the previous government, couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Even previous government, utility bills in the universities were absorbed by students. Isn't it? That the teachers' utility bills, water, electricity, the previous government said you can no longer take it up. So students were paying for. This government came and has taken over all these things.
Okay.
So for me, I believe that this is a government who has educational sector at heart. So I am somehow at loss as to how people say this government has left educational system unconcerned. And you see,
we have had conversations with teachers and then headmasters and headmistresses of the various senior secondary schools and then some others, where issue of curriculum came in, where they were consulted. They had some what we forum for them, and they spoke out, they touched on changing curriculum, but nothing really happened. They came in, there were no books and all that. That is why I was saying that, but that is not one off.
And as I speak, it's been resolved. The books are out.
Anyway,
thank
you, Lawrence.
So what is the challenge again?
Anyway, thank you.
Yes.
You've made your points. Let me come to Richard. Richard, Lawrence has made his points, and from all that you have heard also with regards to what I briefly read in the newspaper on government saying UTAG has been unfair. Do you think they really have been unfair?
Annette, let me say good morning to your cherished viewers, and good morning to the good people of Nkwanta South constituency in the OT region. And then let me say good morning to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and kudos to the able team yesterday that was emerged at Legon yesterday for the 10th anniversary of his launching of the 10 years anniversary of His Excellency John Evans Atta Mills. It was a great show. It was a great occasion, and I believe that his heritage is something that is remarkable that all of us know, and there's no two ways about that. His Excellency John Mills came to do a lot in building our democracy, governance, in the law, every sector of a Ghanaian's economy, that he did very well. Absolutely, you know, the fastest growing economy in the world under his watch, the lowest inflation under his watch, is obviously then His Excellency John Mahama was his head of economic management team. You know, if you have a head of economic management team, your governance will be well. Strike issue, as you earlier once said, Annette, to be honest, when this strike issue happened, I am a beneficiary of education, so as you are, so as everybody in this country knows the importance of education. So I didn't sit down. I have engaged the minister personally. That's the fact. I have personally engaged the minister. I have met him one-on-one on about 2 times about this strike issue. I believe, as a media practitioner, I don't come to sit on air and just speak anyhow. We are all Ghanaians, so if anything, you get to know. You are in journalism, they call it news for news. Yeah. You need to know it. Then whilst you are debating, you know the criticalities of it. To be honest and be fair to the minister, Dr. Educhum, as a Minister of Education, you can see a lot of worry in his face as to what is happening. I can see that the minister understands the dynamics of education. The minister knows what education is about, the policies. And I think for his diaspora educational system and into the Ghanaian educational system, he sees a wider challenge in our educational system. So he's trying to impact it and get a solution. But you see, one thing about African man is that it's very difficult when they're trying to put a new change. And it takes time. It takes time. I realize he felt there's a lot of gap in our educational system. But it will take time for us to understand. But do we really understand? We believe we are too late in our educational system. And so all that is happening, I know the minister is never happy, to be honest. He's never happy. And per his conversation, he has done broader consultations with all the unions, even not only the UTAC, with all the unions that concern about the education. But hey, it's a situation in which we have. For the minister I've engaged, I don't think and I don't believe that he will be rude to UTAC, unless of course something happened. I don't think and I don't believe he will be rude to UTAC, and I think that I think the minister needs a lot of support at his stance now. Else we need to achieve our educational goal. And for us being beneficial of education, as you said, we shouldn't over politicizing our educational system. We should look at way forward as to how we can engage, we can do more engagement. The UTAC, as you said, is a fact. They are paid their word in school. In as much as they might be beneficiaries, the word might be beneficiary at home. It's not overly saying that it's going to meet up with the curriculum.
No.
You understand? So everybody is in a shamble as it stands now. So I think there's a lot to do.
But Richard, please hold on with your thoughts. Speaking about help, the education minister and of course the ministry at large needing help, do you think the vision he has for our educational system has been communicated so well for us to understand and even accord him that help that you think that will be left to him and his PR department. I have an opportunity of engaging him. How many people have engaged him? You understand? How many people? So it's left with he and his PR department to do the yeoman job. They have a responsibility to play. They must inform Ghanaians. They should let Ghanaians know as the state in which our educational system is. It's a duty of them, not me. But you see, the reality of the matter is that he's worried. But you know the problem? The education doesn't have money. The whole problem is money. The country is broke, which you have to understand. The country Ghana in which we are is totally broke. Our coffers are empty. Who tells you the government is not ready to have to meet up the UTAC demand? The government is ready. So is that to buttress the point that UTAC isn't being fair?
No, it's not that UTAC. The government have not treated UTAC well as well. So I'm coming there. UTAC government will be ready to meet up with UTAC, but where is the money? It's where we have to. The government has used the money on consumption since day one. Our administration, they have copied us. We told them that the economy was in the ICU.
And you are bad managers of the economy, of course.
No, obviously, everybody, the records are there. We all know. It's obvious.
They can't copy bad managers.
We told them that the economy was in ICU, and they should take them to they should give him ventilator for us to. And the whole thing was about consumption. You send chunk of money into the elections to win election at all costs.
Look at this.
And that is where we are today. Look, I have had engagement with UTAC. Dr. Nkrumah is my brother, if you get to know. The president of UTAC at the University of Ghana. I have engagement with them. You could see the pace in which they are also in now. It is not that they are not willing to teach, but the condition of service. It is not good. A lecturer cannot feed a family today as it stands now. Price of goods and services are high. Fuel is high. Accommodation is high. Even their school, the pay fees is high. But how much do you give them? Peanut. You think the lecturer...
It used to be 500. How do you call that peanut? It used to be 500 cedis and now it's been increased to 1,500.
So if it's been increased to 1,500, how much? When it was 500, how much was it to dollar equivalent? 3.8.
So is that their conversation? Is that their argument?
No, you know. I think when we go to economists, you know the situation in which we are today. Government is demanding dollar more than even you, and so they are chasing dollars, and then so the dollar price have to escalate. Today, dollar is 6.8, I think.
8.
Yes, 6.5 to 6.8, I think. So if we are using we are all going do importation to survive, and you give me $500, $1,000, and then dollar is equivalent to something, and what do we do? So the situation in which is that nobody is happy. The education ministry as a body is not happy.
Okay, so on that a dollar is 6.31.
6.31 as it stands now.
Yeah.
The education ministry as it stands now is not happy. The UTAC as a body that have a direct collaboration with the ministry is also not happy. They being home now without teaching students, they are also not happy. They feel as a teacher they need to impart knowledge.
But can we not do with what they have?
So that's where I'm coming to. So the problem in which they are facing now, the Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations have a sole responsibility, and that is where I think the blame have to come up. We know that in as much as the situation is worse, I don't think you should sit down for such strikes to happen before you now look at it. Fair Wages Commission has been a labor commission. I was struggling today. Per labor law, I think they need to make a threshold where they don't go back to lectures. The schools have to shut down. Fair Wages and Salary Commission has now to do salary adjustment. Even then, if they do salary adjustment and take to the Ministry of Finance, will they get a clearance? There's no money. You see, so I believe that initially the Ministry of Labor, what they should have done is that every year annually they should be doing a little adjustment on their salaries. It will have not affect them as it stands now, and that would have been the only way to get solution to this problem.
And I think that
so in all, I believe that we should engage both. The ministry have to tell UTAC the truth, and UTAC may have to bear the truth even though it is not fair and feel the pains, because they also raise a concern. Salary increment is only 4%, isn't it? Article 4 office holders now. Yeah. And some has been increased to 79%. So there are little conflict in societal and human resource situation in which we are. So we just have to come up with a common decision. Let us think that we are Ghanaians. And government, look, anything the government have to do a little adjustment, they might not be able to meet their demand, but I think that they will be able to arrive at a particular point where students have to come back to school. Mind you, and remember, these students that are on strike has already paid their fees. Parents at home has used their last canoe.
Concern because yes. If these fees have already gone in, when they come back, like I asked the SRC president, when they come back, are they going to continue with the semester, or is going to start afresh because some people decided to go on strike and it affected them, or we are still going to go by the short period that we have now, because now people go to school for some short while and then they come back home. And so it looks like the time is already being
to raise about 2,900 now to go to a semester, and you have to prepare your work to school. And he comes home. Some of them are back home now. Yeah. When they come, you see the financial constraint you need. So there's a lot to this. It is not fair to all angles. Remember, parents at home are also struggling to get their work into schools. Some of them have not even even started breeding breadwinners in the family, and these are the hopes they have. So when it happens all this way, and you see, I think another sector we have to look at is that governments should remember that there are a lot of because of the free education, there are a lot of chunk students in the campuses now. So let's have a little motivation, and UTAC also has to understand that the economy as we are stand now, the nation is broke. The government never listens to anybody.
But the MPP or the government in power has, in a very nice way, accepted that the economy is nowhere. And so that is why they are pushing the e-levy. And like you're mentioning, there's no money. And so they are saying that the e-levy will make us get money to be able to tackle some of
the government have been very responsible in spending. And that's the problem. Anas, do you know what is happening? You know, this government has borrowed carelessly. And now they need to go and pay off their debt every month. And they need dollar.
To do that.
To do that.
Like you mentioned, I like the fact that you mentioned earlier that let's look at the way forward. Now the way forward is that they are saying the e-levy will help us get money.
No, that's
to
not.
Be able to tackle some of these things.
The e-levy is now a burden.
How is that a burden?
It is more of a burden to ordinary person than to say the e-levy will solve the problem. This is the government. President Mills Mahama borrowed less than 47.3 billion.
Why?
In this country. Okay.
Which
no, hold on.
Authority are you speaking?
Hold on. President, let me say, President Mills and Mahama, before they left, our debt stock was 120 billion, isn't it? Okay.
127 billion.
Okay, you just add the 7 billion. That's 127 billion. If pardon you, let's even assume it. You could see that today the revenue generation we are getting to sustain this country is all based on the borrowing we had. You understand? Now, You know, as we are talking under this government, we don't have any fiscal space. So the e-levy is just a physical space to go and borrow more. The government has borrowed over close to 300 billion. Close to 300 billion as it stands now. And I can tell you that we can't have anything to boast on. So we are saying that even if you want to say you want to initiate tax, there are so many loopholes in this country. And you can agree with me that there are loopholes that we can use to cover this. Revenue to property rate to revenue is 9%. Are you aware?
You are telling me
it's 9%. A property rate to GDP is 12.3%. We've known in this country, you are going to borrow, the e-levy is giving you 7 billion. But you know, I was looking at something yesterday, but their own research they did. They are saying that after the budget and then the appropriation of the budget has been passed, they are telling us that about 24% of Ghanaians will not do mumu when the e-levy is passed. You know, so if that is the case, if 24% of the people will not do mumu if e-levy is passed, and now you've done budget appropriation. Now today, the e-levies, the collection of e-levies will have supposed to start in January. We are in February. The e-levy, the budget, the collection have not started.
As for the date, of course they were. Yes, they were thinking that it would have gone through successfully.
I am trying to give you a critical analysis. Now you are saying that there will be deduction of 24% of the people that will not do e-levy. Okay. Now look at all this analysis. For 2022, you are not going to get a 7 billion. Even if the e-levy is forcefully passed today, and they are trying to do, at the end of 2022, you are not going to get the 7 billion. We are telling you that our financial misappropriation for auditors report that is about 12 billion. And we know people that the money is with. I can point some of them. Okay. We know people that are stealing this money. Let's go after them and take the money.
All right, this is coming from
if you give me time,
anyway.
We know
they can point the people.
If you go to Maritime Authority, we have some money there that has been financial misappropriation. Let's go for it. You go to Ministry of Energy.
These are not the only places.
No, I'm coming. That today we've lost money. If you go to Bost, we know that there's some money in Bost that somebody has embezzled it. Let's go after them. Youth and Authority. So many areas, Procurement Authority, PPA, chunk of money, 12 billion. That would have been 2 years e-levy collection.
Thank you.
But do you know the most wicked thing? This government is saying that wrapping up. This government is saying that they are going to collect e-levy, but they've never thought of capping. And
you think so?
Yeah, they've never thought of capping. Look, if I go to MTN now to go and do Momo to do financial transaction, and I'm paying, I have 2,000 cedi. I pay a 1% of what? 10 cedi. If I am doing 2,000 cedi, I still pay 10 cedi. Are you aware?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's how it is. They cap it. So when no, that's what is happening.
That is not it.
That is it. If you are going to do, if you are sending Momo, on the normal way, and even if you are withdrawing, and you send 1,000 cedi, you pay 1%.
Yeah, that's the
So if you are sending 2,000, you still pay 1%.
You don't pay 1%.
No. It has been
1%, but the amount different.
No.
How does it?
No. If you are
1% of the
go
amount
and check the MTN Momo, it's a public information. You can let your viewers.
Exactly, because you all go there.
Let your viewers come. If you are transacting 2,000,
unless maybe they have been taking our money so that
it's been capped. Maybe no, but you pay commission that the person can withdraw exact amount. But I am telling you, on the normal way, MTN has been capped. All the Momo transactions have been capped. So and that will motivate you to go and do Momo, because if I'm sending 1 million Ghana today per this initiative,
we have a friend across the street. We'll find out.
No, if I am telling you,
it's not a matter of going to a friend.
The reality of the matter is that the telcos has a capping, and that's the reality. The telcos has a capping, and the capping based on the percentage you are paying.
This is a new one you are talking about.
It
has been there.
MTN
before the 1.75 that is coming.
The 1.75%, they are not going to do capping for us.
Okay, but the old one that we used to do already, where we pay the 1%,
it has always been capped. About. Yes, it has always been capped.
Mr. Producer, please, you can help me with that to understand that. What I know is not what Richard is saying.
That's what I'm telling you. It has always been capped. The higher the higher amount you send, the lower the interest you pay.
I have this is
oh,
new.
but maybe then.
No, actually, but this is new.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe you don't do Momo. If you really do,
if I don't do Momo, I won't even be talking about authority. This is not the amount that is being charged.
Listen, if that is why.
Anyway,
you should
end on this.
That is why if you are going to the Momo vendors to go and do transfer, most of them will tell you, no, I can't send 3,000 at once. I don't know whether you observe it. They'll tell you I can't send 3,000 at once. They will want to send 1,000 so they can get 1% out of it. It has always been like that.
Maybe the person you've been going to.
No, that is the MTN Momo. That's the so if you don't look at the capping, it will not motivate people to go and send. And you know, this e-levy is an avoidable tax, and there's no equity in it. If I am going to buy Coca-Cola, I am paying 200 Ghana cedi, and I have money on my wallet, and you have 200 cedi in your hand. I'm going to pay tax. You're not going to pay tax. You are aware. So this e-levy thing, government are very irresponsible. And want to lie to us to use our intelligence as a fiscal space to go and borrow. And they're telling us that it's going to create jobs and build roads. You've borrowed close to 30 billion, 300 billion.
That's fine.
What have you used it for? So it has nothing to do with that them having money. They are loopholes. And government should come. Government should come next. Let's help them.
Into consideration the time you're spending.
I
wouldn't expect you to
let's help them
to tell me the time is up because
let's help them to recover the money.
Last week here, I don't want to
Lawrence, but I have portion. Lawrence, and so I'm not sure that will come as a warning.
No.
Lawrence spoke about 15 minutes.
Last week,
I beg you, but that will not come as a.
Here, I was not given an opportunity to share my view on a particular topic.
Don't worry, but I give the time.
I'm always drawing your attention to the fact that if
I'm not oblivious of it.
Okay.
But Lawrence, you have not been fair to me.
Thank you very much.
No,
have you ended on your comments?
You kept injecting and interrupting.
Have you ended on your comments? All right. Thank you very much. So Lawrence, you can have your take on it. He has also mentioned that there are some loopholes in the education ministry, and of course, government needs support from everybody, all the unions, every stakeholder out there, and even Ghanaians at large. Government has a lot to do. He spoke about money issue and government not communicating the issue of not having money to be able to tackle some of these long-standing problems of UTAG. What do you make of that?
Yeah, let me start with the issue of borrowing.
Okay. That will be brief, please.
Yes. No, okay. That is giving you chance to. I'm building the point.
That will be brief.
He spoke a lot on it, and to the fact that he said the NDC government borrowed 127 million.
I didn't say we borrowed. I never said we borrowed.
I said
our public debt.
Richard, allow him make his point. I give you the time.
The public debt as at 2017. Okay, at 7th January 2017, when NDC government, after their 8 years leaving office, the public debt was...
Richard, don't interject him. Let him have his take. When you're done, I'll give you the time to also speak.
127 billion. As at 7th January 2009, before President Kufuor would leave the seat for NDC, the public debt was 9 billion. If you look at the percentage-wise, it's 1,355%. That tells you that for the 8 years, NDC was ballooning the public debt by 166% per year. As we speak now, the public debt is 344 billion. That gives you a percentage of 281% for 5 years. If you take it, it tells you clearly that MPP government balloons the public debt by 68% per annum. So clearly, if you look at the statistics, which government has borrowed so much and has swollen the public debt? And he sits here and speaks that MPP government has borrowed so much. Now, let's speak about what the money has been used for. We talk about social intervention policies in this country.
Like what?
NDC cannot pinpoint one social intervention policy that has benefited all Ghanaians. But MPP can speak to social intervention policies in this country, which is obvious. I don't want to be numbered.
Education.
It's one of them.
That's what you mentioned.
No, go. No, it is clear. It's obvious.
It's 6 billion.
It is
one of out of 247 billion.
Richard, let him have it. He has the floor now, so let him finish and then
that
you can have
when facts and figures are being presented, even the gods become silence. I am giving you figures, facts and data. And you don't want me to talk.
Which one is the data? You are 20,000 Ghanaians.
You only came and said that the MPP government has borrowed so much. Without giving us the data, and I'm giving you the data up from 2009 up to 2017 and up to 2022. And who ballooned the public debt? It is NDC by 166% per annum, as against 68% of MPP. And let's look at the achievement in this country. This is what Ghanaians want to know. This is what Ghanaians want to see.
And are these also helping to solve the education problem?
Yes, let me tell you. Nobody anticipated for this deadly disease, COVID, which has actually affected the whole nation, including US, who has even borrowed $3 trillion. $3 trillion US, almighty US, has gone because of this deadly, so much unbudgeted expenditure has caused a whole almighty US to borrow $3 trillion. Now, NDC keep on saying that we have overborrowed and Ghana will certainly go to IMF. No, that is not the best way to go. If somebody should say we should go to IMF, it's an irresponsible statement, because you go to IMF and conditionalities will be given to you where public sector employment will be fleeced for years, as NDC did for 4 good years. Ghanaians, youth, were not able to get access to employment because they went from $920 million US under IMF. Conditionalities were given to them. However, the money was not used for anything. They rather use the money to pay double salary for the appointees, which the current Speaker of Parliament was a beneficiary to that double salary, which he admitted. Here we are. We are not going there. Yes, we want to control the borrowing. What do? Let's look at our the space, taxation space, and see which area can be of help, so that we can generate revenue locally.
And go and borrow.
No, wait. We can generate revenue locally to build the economy, build the industry, so that we can be able to recruit later on our own, than going to borrow because we don't want to do more of borrowing. Looking at the taxation space, we see that e-levy is one of the options. Now, one will ask, if NDC is saying that Ghanaians doesn't want the e-levy, then I think it's an opportunity for NDC to let it go. So the Ghanaians don't like e-levy, let them rebring the e-levy. So the Ghanaians who gave us the mandate will vote us out of power, so that they will come and take the power and then abolish the e-levy. Why are they worried? If Ghanaians don't want it, if that's what he's thinking, they knew very well that with the introduction of the e-levy, the development that will come on in this country, NDC cannot even come to the election.
Why?
Let me tell you, Ghanaians also have taken notice that at any given time, NDC as a party will stand against any policy of this MPP government. It means a good policy. One, when national health insurance was introduced, what happened in this country? NDC spoke against it, and they say it's a fiasco. Now, what do we see with national health insurance? When the petroleum industry, the oil was found, what happened? NDC said it was Ajono. The current, yes, the current Speaker of Parliament said it was Ajono. However, today, his chemotherapy treatment is being borne out of the oil money. The chemotherapy treatment he goes to Dubai every 2-3 days for treatment is being paid by the oil money. But he went to Parliament with a gallon, telling Ghanaians that it is Ajono, and it's never true. Kofu has not found any oil. When Ghana card came into place, what happened? They said no, Ghana card is not good. However, they all gone for it, and today we are seeing the essence of Ghana card. When the Vice President's initiative for transforming the economy through digitization, what happened? They said no, that's not the best way to go. Today they want us to fight corruption. How do we fight corruption?
Opposition is always found in that regard.
If they have not realized, I want to enumerate it. I want to give you more when free SHS policy was introduced, they said it's not possible. They ran 48 adverts against free SHS. But now they tell us that they come to stay, and therefore they will sustain it. So Ghanaians also have taken notice of all these things and say that, hey, anything NDC will stand against it, it means it's a good policy. They know when they allow it to go through, they cannot come to power.
But Lawrence, you believe that because of the current parliament we have now, that is why e-levy hasn't been able to
that is
go
not
through
the issue
because
is that you wait, we sit in this country, fine, the country now, we don't have money. They expect their ex-graduates to be paid. Okay? We expect that they expect that their salaries will go through. One thing that saddens me most, that you see NDC parliamentarians keep on saying that this government has borrowed so much money and they don't see anything. My sister, you were in this country
is that
when
not true?
I'm coming. You were in this country when the same sector minister secured loan of 3 billion from Exim Bank for the purchases of V8 vehicles for parliamentarians. It took them 2 hours to approve it. Nobody made a comment.
Which one did you? Did the party also do?
I just want to establish. I said both parties.
Okay.
Nobody made a comment. They thought it's a good thing because they are self-centered people. Okay?
Oh, so
nobody made a statement. And it is a part of the public debt too. That loan, which government is taking 70% of it, is part of the public debt they are talking about.
But they are going to pay.
They are saying that they have not seen anything out of the money government has borrowed. I want to ask the parliamentarians, wherever they are, haven't they seen the V8 they are seeing inside? Or that V8 is an abstract now.
Maybe.
You see, sometimes when they speak as if they have not been in government before.
But you speak as if you've not been in opposition before.
No, the thing is, the level of hypocrisy is becoming too much.
But it's gotten worrying.
Today,
Lawrence, let me make a statement. It's gotten worrying because now there has been rapid increase in everything. Fuel is selling at how much?
Let me tell you, when President Kufuor will leave power, how much was a gallon of fuel? 4 cedis, 60 pesos. By the time Atamis, may his soul rest in peace, will leave us just suddenly, how much was the price of fuel? 8 cedis, 70 pesos. At the time President John Dramani Mahama will leave, how much was the price of fuel? 14 cedis. Where from the starting? Yes, let me come in. It means they saw that the wet market prices is controlling the prices of fuel. Therefore, they brought what we call automatic adjustment formula. It's not NDC who brought it. I'm asking, it's not NDC brought the automatic adjustment formula, which we are all working with. So when the prices go, we have not abolished it.
Nobody said we were going to abolish it.
The prices go up, automatically fuel prices go up.
But you knew that, and Dr. Bawumia mentioned that they were not going to increase prices of fuel for within that year. There was an increase 3 good times.
Let me tell you, there has been occasions that fuel has been reduced. Nobody talk about it. When MDC let Ghanaians suffer for 5 years, when Akufo-Addo came and restored it and even reduced electricity by 110%, Ghanaians didn't talk about it.
But you're giving
have you not experienced it under your government as well?
He was giving data.
But what was it?
No. If they give you maintenance schedule, it's different from.
It is not maintenance schedule. You use that as an opportunity to also fix the problems that you had, because even Otunfor made mention of that. It was
as here. If you want to be fair to yourself, your station, go to the finance department. Let them give you the vouchers they used to purchase crude oil during S1 Mahama regime for 5 years. And today, they should give you the voucher they used to purchase.
It will be the same. It will be the same because even in this era, things are very expensive as compared to the time of the NDC. Like you are saying, that if we are let's be fair, Lawrence. Let's be fair. If we are talking about Dumsor came under NDC, we agree. There were no shadows giving and everything. It goes off without people's knowledge. But you made a very good use of it by giving people the foreknotice sometimes.
For how long does it last for? For how long?
Some people were sleeping in it for 12 hours.
We give you a schedule. We respected Ghanaians so much that we want to do maintenance schedule. We want to upgrade the system. We want every Ghanaian to have access to electricity. Therefore, respectfully, as government, I'm engaging you people, the stakeholders, Ghanaians, the custodians of the land, that this is the schedule. within 2 weeks, this is what will happen. And after 2 weeks, government has been up to his worst.
Were you not scared that people were going to buy because when you were in opposition and Mahama had the Dumsor thing, were you also not doing same?
My sister, those days, my brother sitting here will not appear this studio with their dresses wearing. You will appear with a jersey because they don't have time to iron their
Thank you very much. Anyway,
you will not come here with this dress nicely iron. You come here with Mahama jersey, Lacoste, because there was no light to iron it.
But now there's light.
Yes, so kudos to Nana Addo Dankwa government.
These are
some of the things we are saying that
people are so experienced. Yesterday, I had to know so in the afternoon.
My sister, you cannot avoid packets of sex.
I want to give you.
But we are talking about the volume. We are talking about the gravity of those Dumsor, okay, across the country for 5 good years, where businesses were shut down.
There's no two ways about it, Lawrence, that Dumsor affected us so much.
And
established under your government, we've also experienced it.
How long did you experience that?
And at that time, the minister said it wasn't so. But still, people still have their things.
Power outages. Has it run down businesses?
You think it hasn't?
No.
You think it hasn't?
Yes.
Maybe the harm cause will not be as you can't equate it to what happened during. No. You also have to be fair.
People have to do redundancy. Some companies reduce staff because production was not going on because there was no light. And today,
it is established.
As a journalist,
as much as you are trumpeting that of the NDC government, you should do the same with your government.
Take some of the print media papers and see whether you've seen a capturing where businesses, okay, companies are retrenching people because of lack of electricity and production has come down. Check.
Okay.
Nothing of that sort.
Thank you very much. I hope you've made your point.
No, I haven't. But I will finish and you close the program on me.
Why?
Yes, because you gave me a lot of space to talk.
Thank you very much.
What I'm saying is that we need to be fair to ourselves that
very well.
You can only compare when we have more than one. And if you compare NDC 8 years and MPP 5 years, if you're a Christian, you say the truth. That the difference
Muslims
is clear.
also say the truth.
Yeah, if you are a Christian and a Muslim, even a traditionalist who is fair and sincere to your God, whichever God you serve, you speak the truth that the difference is clear.
All right.
It is clear.
Thank you.
From Esawam
Thank you, Lawrence.
to Apeda Junction. Dualization of the road over the years.
There are some other roads in the cities you've not touched. And so why are you?
You cannot do everything at the same time.
Then you should agree
we are going
with
by our words. 8 years of NDC administration, Kufuor Road that he started, Accra to Kumasi. Look at how the road was left. And today, if you use that road, you see the money they are talking about that we are borrowed.
The year of
road has come to materialize.
Year of roads indeed. Thank you very much, Lawrence. Richard, you can have your take.
I believe in Asampa. It's not about giving you the whole manifesto. And as he sits here and talk about that NDC borrow about 1,000% or whatever.
1,000%. It's true. I'm telling you.
Will you behave yourself?
Richard, we'll not go so much on that. We're still on the Yoruba issue.
You have to be.
The records are there.
Please.
Richard, you not do so much on that.
No, I understand. So if NDC, most Mahama government borrowed over at least 82 billion Ghana cedi.
What
82 billion? And you in your government
borrowed 247 billion. I said it's not 82 billion.
Oh, please. Lawrence, don't
be behaving like
the character of your leader.
The man is not saying the truth.
Stop the character of
You
your leader.
said yours. Let him also
have his take. He started 120 127 million.
Lawrence,
you've had your take.
You should be more
responsible.
I will not allow him to lie.
You should be more responsible.
He's entitled to his opinion.
No.
He's entitled to his opinions and you are. So I'm giving you the platform. You've made your
expect me to sit down for him to lie?
Which kind of lies?
So far as it's not insult to your person. So far as it's not. No. So far you are communicating for your party.
I believe.
So far as it's not insult to your person, I think you should give him.
I believe over 1 million of your viewers are seeing what is happening.
Well, keep on lying.
This is critically about I behave like my leader. Let him behave like his leader. You borrowed 247 billion. Then the NDC borrowed less than 90 billion. And you tell us that our percentage is escalating, and for that matter, it is we that borrowed more and we've not used it. Let me tell you, you talk about social intervention under your 207 billion. The social intervention you did was free education. The free education per your budget, it's 7 billion Ghana cedi you use. President Kwame Nkrumah started free education. Are you aware? I had free education. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was not the president. I have 28 siblings. All of us had free education. And none other that under them, President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo was not the president. There were leaders who came to this country and did Cocoa Scholarship. You remember? Some did brilliant and needed scholarship. The GMPC scholarship came. President Kufuor came to do FQ. We all know successful the money they chopped, the budget that went into it. President John Dramani Mahama came to do progressive free education, which you are aware. What happened? How much we use into it? You do double track education with 7 billion, and you tell us that's the social intervention you did. You sit here and tell us about free national health insurance. Look, under President Kufuor, I was working in Ghana Health Service. The NDC, the minority, then walked out of parliament because of the mutuality of the national health insurance policy. President Rawlings started with the aged insurance. If you're in this country, you know. I was in the hospital working then. The aged insurance, so President Kufuor thought it was to do it, the mutual health insurance. And we told you that the mutuality is limited. So the mutuality means that if you are in Lodjokuku and you want to Ladade Kotopo, you can access medical health care. And with that, you have 26 drug lists. We implement those policies because we were in the hospital then working. We told you we work out because of the mutuality. We told you that do it a national policy. So when we came, we did it a national health insurance policy. Are you aware? And that if you are in Bunkurubu and you come to Nkwanta North, or if from there you are going to Ejura Secretary, you should be able to access
so where is the one-time premium?
And that's what we did. Even with that,
where is it?
Even with that, the 26 drug, we moved it to 163. We then added serious cases that were very common in this country: typhoid perforation, fistula, CS, hernia, lipoma, and those cases that we added into the surgical issues, and we even added surgery. These are the things we did in improving the national health.
You are aware that recently some of these things the national health does not cover.
I am telling you what has happened. Today we have gone back to cash and carry policy because now they discount. Today, as under the Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the policy is being discount. When you go and even run a test, they will discount 40% for you and you pay 60%.
It's never true.
It is what is happening. So if you sit there and think, let it look as if the NDC government has no vision. You tell about social intervention. The NDC, when we came to power, even with the little we borrowed, there are some things today.
You call that little, Richard?
Yes, about close to 85 billion. Well, I am telling you
that's money.
No, hold on. Even with that, we built and completed 47 community senior high schools.
For where?
Well, you have some to show, but
yes,
not the total.
I'm saying that we built and completed 47.
You understand that the time and the season goes with how much.
Today, if you go to Rich Hospital, it's created a lot of jobs. It created a lot of jobs at the Rich Hospital.
All right. Thank you very much.
If you go to Terminal 3 at the Kotoka International Airport, these are the policies that we did. You tell us that you needed. You tell us that the e-levy is going to leverage the ordinary Ghanaian. Look, I am telling you, today the MPP governed based on 2 documents, which you agree with me. The MPP manifesto.
I'm not agreeing with you.
But MPP manifesto and the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. That's what they used to govern. Because they came to promise Ghanaians that they were going to do something in their manifesto.
Your government promised certain things and we're not able to do them.
Even in their manifesto, they told Ghanaians that they were going to move from the taxation economy to production economy. And borrowing was a lazy man.